Hey, 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 it's part 3 today. Last one, I think. I hope.
Throwing me back to your rap.
I know. I really should do another one of those. If you know, you know. It's like buried on the internet somewhere.
I feel like it's still on your Instagram.
Oh, it is, but buried.
Oh, yeah. It's
I have
way
so many
back.
posts now.
Go to her reels and scroll all the way down.
The reels didn't exist then. It was IGTV.
But do you think it's like under the reels section on your Instagram now?
I've never looked.
Yeah, that would be a lot of scrolling.
I don't know.
I remember I got the first cut of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was still a client at the time.
I was like, what do you think of this?
Yeah, you did. I remember. Good times.
Good times. Throwbacks.
What would you rap about now?
Free radicals.
Okay. What was it last time? Acne? No, I don't remember.
It was everything.
Okay.
So many topics in one song.
Okay.
Cringy. But it was supposed to be cringy, and that was the hardest part, is that people thought it was legit, and it was like I was actually trying to be good, but it was supposed to be funny. Like, it was supposed to be so bad that it's funny.
Who did it for you?
Mia from high school.
Okay. That's
my high school friend. Yeah.
So funny.
It was iconic. It was an era. Anyways, let's talk about it.
Yep.
Let's get into ethics and aesthetics. So some things that I want to talk about ethics and aesthetics, there's where to start. We already talked about the no-brainers last time, but these are ones I think a lot of people don't think about.
Okay.
For me, I do consults before treatments, always.
Yeah.
Because you got to feel out your patient first and see what their expectations are. I think a lot of times, the reason people get bad reviews or they don't have client retention is because they do not lay out what needs to happen. I mean, you can't assume people know everything. You have to really go into it as that they know nothing, because truly a lot of people don't. Now, you will have those clients that are research everything and they already know every procedure and device that you have. But setting expectations is the key to client compliance and success with your clients.
Yeah.
So during that consult, you get to know, like, all right, they just coming in for a one-off fun facial. If that's your kind of vibe, like, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're more of a corrective facility and corrective clinic like my space is, you want to know what they're here for. Do they have a wedding? I mean, the other day I had a girl come in for a consult. She's like, my wedding's in 1 month. I'm like, I'm booked out 5 months from now. Like, there's no way I can get you in.
Yeah.
We can start you on some products, but, I'm not going to be able to treat you till after the wedding. And it's one of those things that you have to set those expectations. Like, if they're coming in trying to get ready for an event, like, this is what you need to do. This is the timeline. This is the treatment plan.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask, like, why don't my clients rebook with me? Like, why don't they rebook? Well, my first question is, do you have a treatment plan for them? Have you laid out their schedule? And you don't have to have it written out. You can have them book it out. So,
That's what you do, yeah.
I have them come to the front and I say, okay, I want you to do 6 of these, 3 of these, 4 of those. And this is how the space out is going to be. And I book them out so that they have a slot, because with my clinic now, we're booked out so far. So it's really important to get them on the schedule so they know what's happening, instead of just being like, let's just book your first appointment. And then you never know, especially when you have a lot of people in your business, if they're going to remember to rebook them or not. You can't police that. So I think you as the provider being up front and getting all those scheduled out and like verbally explaining that to them. And you can take it a step further if you want to write out a treatment sheet. I don't personally do that, but it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. And also, like, I feel like even in just doing that, subconsciously to the client, it's going to be a higher retention rate, because if you have something scheduled already, you're way more likely than if you have to like go out of your way to book it again.
Yeah. Not be like, oh, let's book your first microneedling and then we'll book your next one when you come in. It takes 3 seconds, just book them out.
Yeah.
So that's my first thing. Second, I will not treat anyone until they're on a regimen. And it's not because I want to make money. It's because I want good results and I don't want any adverse reactions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming to me with a skin concern, because that's what happens. I rarely have someone come in that has perfect skin that just wants to maintain. People come to me if they're trying to reverse aging, reverse pigment, reverse scarring, or treat acne.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. And when they come in with those conditions, like, you have to have home care. You have to maintain those results. And you're going to have clients be pissed off and upset if they're coming in to get microneedling treatments. Yeah, they might see some results, but if they're going home and using random products, or they go home and they're not using the right aftercare, they can get a burn, they can get hurt, they can get infected, they can have a reaction, and they're not going to be as satisfied with the results as a patient that is using a full home care regimen that's curated by you, the professional.
Mm-hmm.
So for the longest time, I used to do same-day consult treatments early in my career, and I realized with that, like, you really can't do much other than, like, just a nice relaxing facial, which is fine. You can totally do that. But when I transitioned my practice to more invasive stuff, like, I'm not going to put a chemical peel on you the first
Absolutely
time. I'm
not.
not going to microneedle you the first time I see you. I need to get your skin prepped and ready and know that you have the tools you need. And two, what would happen is I wouldn't check them out right away. We do the consult. They'd agree to the products. I'd do the service, and they're like, oh, well, the service was expensive. I'll just get those next time. And then they go home, and how are you? You're not going to like handcuff them, be like, you can't leave until you buy these products. So I like to have a commitment with that before I even treat them, because so many times it would happen where they'd say yes to the products. We'd do the treatment would finish, and they'd be like, oh, I actually don't want them.
Yep, absolutely. All the time.
All the time.
That would happen all the time.
And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
and I mean, it's just like, also I'm thinking now, like, me and you both, like our Sephora face with like 60 acids, and then like what they're going to be on, continue using those products, and then you're going to put a chemical peel on them or like stuff like that. Like,
it's just not right.
It's not going to work.
And for places where like you can just go on their website as a random person that's never been seen and go book a chemical peel or microneedling, like that's unethical.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You can't do that. You have to do a consult with them first and know everything about them. And also, too, like, let's say someone books microneedling and they come in and they're on blood thinners. Now, that just wasted your whole hour. You're not going to get paid unless you're unethical and are like, oh, I'm going to still do the treatment. And a waste of their time to drive out. You don't know how far they're driving from or what they had planned that day and planning their schedule around it. So it's just not fair to you or the patient at the end of the day if they're not having a consult before they book something, because they could not be a candidate for the treatment they scheduled. And even if you can switch it to something else, like they're already in their mind upset and annoyed that they thought they were coming in for a certain procedure and they're not going to get that, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think expectations are everything. And another thing I run into in my practice is a client will be clear. We'll get them scheduled for microneedling, because you cannot microneedle overactive acne. I don't care who says you can. They should be stripped of their license and in esthetician jail or skincare prison.
Okay.
Like it's...
Or actual prison.
Yeah, it's... No. But I'll have clients come in that, you know, are so excited and they're ready to microneedle, and one of two things will happen. One, I'll have to go around a lot of blemishes because I can't needle over them, and they're getting a half treatment and still paying full price because of the tips and the supplies and everything. Or two, I can't treat them at all, you know? And that can be an issue. And sometimes when that happens, you know, you have the due diligence to say, for me, microneedling is one of my highest priced services, right? Before I had my AirLays, I would just have to switch them to an acne peel.
Yeah.
And acne peels are half the less.
Way less than that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, back then, before you had AirLays, what, you charged $350 for microneedling and $100 for acne peels?
No, it was $400 and
$150.
$200.
Okay, yeah. So half the price.
And that's the ethical thing to do. You still have acne, let's do an acne peel. Instead of being like, oh, I'm going to lose $200, let's go ahead and do the treatment. And that's a money-hungry esthetician right there.
Yeah.
That's a red flag. So for me, you know, it sucks like that we're not able to perform that procedure because I know they want that result, but it's not ethical to do so. And I don't want to have to treat their skin. You know, there's times where a client will have one or two, you know, big cystic areas where I can easily go around them and like, you know,
like if
what
there's
we're
one
really
pimple.
And we're trying to target the scarring or whatever it is, like we'll do that. But it's super important to make sure that you are doing the right by the patient and performing the right procedure that they need and not thinking about your own wallet, because I feel like that happens more times than not with a lot of practices and clients that'll come in and be like, oh, like my esthetician did this on me. And I'm like, why the fuck would they do that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so they knew what they were doing. Like, no one's that stupid to know, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
Are there estheticians that like genuinely believe that you can microneedle over active acne?
3%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give some grace here wherever we can find it.
No. It's just crazy. And also, too, when a patient comes in and they're talking to me about their budget, that's a big thing for me, too. If they're talking about budget and like how much that they want to spend, and they're like, well, I want to do microneedling. I saved up enough to do microneedling every month. I will tell them I would rather you get products, because at the end of the day, you're going to see more results when you're using products at home versus treatments. And people might think, oh, she's just trying to sell products. Funny enough, I make less on product sales than I do with services. I make so much more money and return on my investment with services than I do on products. I only make 50% of that. With services, it's more about the pricing is time and skill. And then also, of course, like the materials used, but really it's time and skill.
Yeah.
And just, you know, trying to pay off your expensive devices and what market price is. But
it depends on the service by service.
No, definitely.
Because, like, obviously, like, microneedling is a high cost for you.
Yeah.
Versus some other services.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And so that is something I always take into account. So if they come in, like I can only have this much, I'm going to put them on home care first. And a lot of the times, guys, new clients that I put on home care end up canceling all of their appointments after and I'm like, do you hate me? Like, did you not like your consult? They're like, no, my skin's perfect. It's great.
They'll still come back to you to buy product.
But never get a service because their skin's just so good with skincare alone. And that, I mean, if skincare didn't work, I wouldn't be getting this much success with my virtual clients.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Because they don't do anything besides just do skincare.
It's actually insane. Now, I mean, obviously, I think that marrying the two is
the best.
Way better than just skincare. But I mean, for some people,
they can't. And that's okay. Yeah. Products always first, because if you think about it this way, it's like if I went to the gym every single day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every single day. I worked out. I took care of my body. I was super healthy. But at home, I'm eating like crap.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Versus somebody who maybe never, ever, ever went to the gym, ever, and was just eating good. Who is going to have better results?
Person who's
eating good. Exactly.
Yep.
So it's really, really important to have good lifestyle changes at home.
Absolutely.
And then the treatments are just an enhancement.
1,000%.
Yeah. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves. And then 2, not listening to what your patient wants all the time. Do you know how many times people have come in and be like, I want this chemical peel? And I'm like, you can't, and they'll get mad at you. Or, I remember in laser school, like they would say, if someone comes in and they're lying to you and they're like, oh no, I haven't been in the sun. And you treat them, you're going to burn them. And they're not going to give you grace. They're going to write you a bad review and try to sue you and make money off of you. So you have to do your due diligence and really, really make sure that they know the consequences of if this treatment was done. Like I had someone when I was working for someone else and doing laser hair removal, who I knew was out in the sun. Like she had a full tan, like I knew it. And she was like, no, I haven't been in the sun. I was like, showed pictures of what laser burns look like. And she's like, okay, I've been tanning. I didn't know like that's what would happen. And I was like, I don't just say shit just to say shit for the fuck of it. Like if I say it, I mean it. Like there's like, I'm not trying to hurt you. Like it's at the end of the day, it's not worth it. Wait 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No,
for sure.
It's not worth having a reaction. And it's hard sometimes when people want to do things, but you have to stand in your ethics and they're going to appreciate you so much more.
Yeah. And I'm sure like people who are unethical are like, I don't want to lose this service today because she was in the sun. Like that's not my fault.
Yeah. And not get paid, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that happens a lot, which we run into people like overdoing things or even with like injections and stuff too. Like, I wish I could say that. I had a client who went to somebody and they overfilled her a lot. And they never told her that she looked overfilled, but other people would tell her she looked overfilled. And when she would try to get it dissolved, she was told like she didn't need to get it dissolved and that she looked great and like to put in more and more and more and keep going. And then she looked fucking crazy. And
yeah.
This person's blonde, 5'3", loves chomps. And, there are a lot of injectors out there that will keep putting Botox and filler in you and not tell you to stop because they're making so much money off of you.
Yeah.
The person my client sees now is like very like, no, you don't need that. No, you don't need that. We actually need to take some out. We shouldn't do that. No. Yeah. And that's what you want to look for in a provider, is someone that's not taking advantage of you, but helping you. And it was crazy to me too, because I'm like, to my client, I'm like, you are her walking billboard. Like, why would they make you look all I mean, I guess to people, money is more important than what other people see. Like, I would literally be shocked if I let my work walk around like that, and be like, oh yeah, I go to Savanna Boda. I'd be like, don't say my name.
Yeah, no.
Like, I didn't do that shit.
Legitimately. And I feel like it can happen on the flip side too, right? Where
clients want it and they get bullied into doing it.
Well, I'm saying that providers also will undertreat.
Oh yeah.
To extend
Oh my God, you just literally triggered a deep memory. So I allegedly worked at a place that did laser hair removal, and allegedly I got written up 5 times because I was treating at the right setting and people were getting really good results.
Yeah.
And same thing with not even laser, it was also microneedling because I was like, I'd go a little more aggressive than like the other girl. And they were like, and I'd be like, I could get people's skin where it needed to be with 6 treatments instead of 12. Yeah. And I thought I was like doing a good job, you know? I'm like, and they're like, no, we're losing money because you're too good at your job. Like you need to stop doing so much. Like you need to do less, treat less, don't do everything, you know? And that to me was like such a red flag. I was like, I'm getting in trouble for being too good at my job because I'm saving my clients money, but my bosses are upset allegedly with me because I allegedly was doing a good job and people were coming in less and less because they didn't need 80 sessions. And I see that all the time with clients that are, especially like places like Laser Away or like these like Total Med Solutions, like these like franchises is where you'll run into this more like Groupon places and things like that are places that usually undertreat. And the reason they can get away with doing such low prices is because they are undertreating you and they want you to keep coming back.
Not those exact places. Just
no,
places
played like that. Allegedly. And
I hope you guys are finding this funny because I am.
It's so funny. And that's the sad truth. Undertreatment happens all the time. All the time, especially with laser hair removal.
I feel like a genius right now for bringing
Thank you,
up.
because that is a huge talking point.
Yeah.
Because it happens all the time. And I will never forget going home and telling my parents like that I got written up for doing too much for my patients.
And that's the crazy part now. I mean, hopefully it's not like that anymore. Because like,
oh no, there's a place, literally my client just told me that's diluting Botox and stuff. I mean, it happens all the time. People dilute Botox, people undertreat because they want you to come back in. And I'm like, why not just do such a good job and raise your prices because you're so good that you make more money because you're so good at your job?
Absolutely.
Versus like doing a shit job and not charging and just charging average pricing, you know? And so you get what you pay for, honestly, guys, when it comes to aesthetics.
I mean, yeah, I'm a firm believer in that in a lot of areas of life.
Like there's things you can cheap out on. Like, you know, if you don't want to get the name brand Pop-Tarts, like get the freaking like great value Pop-Tarts, but don't cheap out on your Botox and filler or your medical services because I'll tell you, in the long run, when you're trying to save money, you're going to spend more money correcting all of those things because you're not going to get the best results. I can't tell you how, probably my clientele right now, 80% of them come to me battered and bruised from other places that have burned them, hurt them, and treated them so dirty that they're like, I'm going to go see Savanna because this is someone I trust.
Yeah.
And I'm never someone's first option. I'm always like the 5th or 6th, like the last hope. And it makes it hard because there's so much pressure on me, like with virtual consults especially. They're like, I've been on Accutane, I've been on spironolactone, I've been on clindamycin, I've done this birth control, I've done all of these like hair scans, I've done blood work panels, I've done this, I've done that, I've seen this esthetician, I've done this, I've done that. And I am the last hope. And like they are already so untrustworthy of me because of how many times they've been let down by other providers. And I have to be the hero.
No, yeah. I've been in the room when she's been on these virtual consults, and like it just goes to show how much people can be shady in the industry because I mean these virtual consults now, obviously not all of them, but a lot of them will like literally grill you. Like it's a job interview.
Yeah. Like have you treated someone like me? Like can you do this?
Or like, you know, you'll say something and they'll be like, are you sure? Or like just like they'll second guess everything you say. And it's like this like fear.
That's like trying to date again after being cheated on by like 5 guys.
Exactly.
It's hard. But those are my favorite because once I get them taken care of, like I feel like
they're your biggest fucking fan after that.
Yeah,
they're like, I love this girl.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's so hard. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of shady shit that goes down that just needs to stop. And all I have to say is in the long run, if you do things the right way, you'll make more money. Like I said, I literally did so many free facials, $50 facials, gave out free product in the very beginning of my career just because I wanted those results. Like I had patients like who I was marketing towards. Obviously with $50 facials, you're not marketing towards the best type of clients, you know, because no, like...
Okay, not best, but like big spenders.
No, even best. Like just flaky, don't care. Like just coming to get a facial, like not invested. Like That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
that just could give a fuck. Like, oh, it's a $50 facial. I'm going to go get you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
don't really truly care about skincare. They're not going to keep up with it. They're just
For
coming to
sure.
get a treatment, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's what I mean. Not even big spenders, but just people that are not invested or care
Yeah.
about it. So I would have a lot of people like that. And I'm like, oh, I know I could help them. I know I could give them results. So I'd give them free products to take home that they wouldn't buy. And they would send me pictures and stuff. And I would get such good before and afters. And that's how I really started to get, you know, my reputation. Because after working at all those med spas and places, I wasn't allowed to have those before and afters because it wasn't technically my work. I mean, it was my work, but, you know, just all the paperwork and legalities. Most places will make you remove everything.
Yeah.
So I had to start from square one, which was really scary. And I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to start a business with no photos?
Yeah. No clients, no photos.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So I literally would do free stuff all the time. And I got such good before and afters. And I learned a lot too, because I was a new SD at that point too when I started. I was very fresh out of school, only a year, you know? And I was using a lot of that time to learn. And that's the other thing too, is like charge your worth at the end of the day. But I wasn't worth $100 at that point. I was having to learn from the bottom up, you know, things that I had to start teaching myself, education I had to teach myself that I wasn't getting at these spas or from aesthetic school. Like I had to really do my due diligence. And during that time, I learned so much. Like anytime I had free time, I would like just be soaking everything up like a sponge. And that's truly what you have to do in this industry. Like you can't expect to know everything. And that's my other thing is people will say, well, your job should be doing this. Your job should be doing that. You should never in life in general rely on other people for your success.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they should be, but they're not obligated to. And at the end of the day, if you want to be great, you have to fucking make yourself great. You can't say, well, I'm not as educated because my employer didn't send me to XYZ training and they didn't do this for me. Okay, you're a victim.
Yeah.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that sounds mean, but I hate that shit.
Yeah.
That's like, be resourceful. You know, this is like my one TED Talk. I will die on this hill.
She's gritting her teeth.
You have to take initiative. Take control of your own fucking life. It is your life. No one owes you anything. No one owes you anything.
Nope.
You have to do it yourself. You have to go out and be a fucking go-getter because the people that wait around for opportunities and things to happen, they never happen.
Nope.
They'll never happen. You can't just sit there and wait for something good to happen to you. You have to go out there and find it. You have to go search for it. You have to surround yourself in the circles that you need to be in, and you have to take initiative. Take fucking initiative of your own life and your own education. That's all I have to say. Of course, your boss should do these things, but they don't have to.
No.
And most of them don't because employee retention in this industry is awful.
Yeah.
People jump ship all the time. Why are they going to invest so much time in you if you're just going to go and leave? So it's your responsibility to go home and read and do what you want to do if you want to be good. If you want to be half-assed and just go to work, do your job and clock out and go home, then that's your prerogative. But if you're trying to be the top of the industry that you're in, whether it's aesthetics, hair, I don't care what it is, a veterinarian, a freaking supermodel, like you don't have a 9 to 5. Even as an employee, you should be at home doing facials on friends and family, taking webinars, taking trainings. The entitlement that some people have that are like, oh, well, I should be getting paid to go to this training. I see both sides. If it's being offered to you through your practice, yes, you should be paid to go take these trainings. If your practice
wants you to be at this training. Yeah,
exactly. But if they're not giving you any of that, you have to go find it yourself.
Yeah.
1000%. But also, you should be paid for training. Do not ever stay at work. If you're, like Tyler said, you aren't there if you're not getting paid.
Yeah, like if it's something they want you to do.
Yeah.
Like if, say, whatever, you're not interested in microneedling and they want you to start microneedling.
Yeah. They should teach you.
Yeah, they should provide that. But like, if you're interested in microneedling and you don't microneedle at your place, like...
That's your job.
Yeah, you shouldn't be like, oh, they should teach me this. It's not their job to do that if you're not.
Exactly. And also, too, like, if you're not happy where you are, find a place that aligns with your ethics because it sucks to be in a position where you're having to sell products and services and treatments that you truly don't believe in. You know, like, it's not a fun job.
I can't imagine it is. Like, I can't believe you had to go through all that.
Oh, yeah. But I'm so thankful for it because I never wanted to own my own business, you know?
Yeah.
And I never thought I would be where I am today and have employees. It's just I was so damn good at my job that SBA grew faster than a weed. And,
yeah, it really
you know, it is hard. And I think, you know, a lot of people are inspired by me going solo and my success, but there's a lot that comes with it. I learned a lot. I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have any loans. My parents didn't fucking pay for a goddamn thing besides the $98 Kindle microdermabrasion machine, but I had to save and put the hours in, worked 9 to 9 every single day, holidays, Christmas Eve. I mean, I put in the work, and I could because I didn't have a husband. I didn't have a kid. I was living at home, and I just wanted so much more for myself in my life. And, I didn't get here by being slimy, cutting corners, doing anything weird. Like, I got here from being me and putting in the grit and the hard work. I worked my fucking ass off, and no one can take that away from me.
She did. Those are all facts.
And I think that's the hard thing is when people see like the life I have now, if they didn't follow me back then, like they didn't see the work that went in to get to where I am today. I didn't hire anyone. I didn't have an investor. I didn't have any loan or money. Like I did everything from my own blood, sweat, and tears.
I mean, I
barely could have afforded my storefront now. Like I was so close to losing it because I was $3,000 short. And if it wasn't for that one client that had like 5 different houses in 5 different countries that bought 5 of every single product, I would have literally lost my suite or my salon storefront.
Yeah, no, I mean, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind.
About me, your hardworking bestie.
Yeah,
It was crazy. I mean, I could barely pay Tyler in the beginning too. Like he was one of my first employees and literally like $10 an hour, maybe more. I think it was 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard just to get started. It was really hard to figure out how to do everything. I mean, I had to learn how to ship. I had to learn how to do everything. Like we didn't even know that we had to register our alarm. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I was going to say, you said like you didn't have an investor. You didn't have any things. I didn't know and that's the thing is Savanna didn't know anything about owning a business, running a business. Like literally like.
Sorry, my shoulder hurts, guys, if you see me on the video.
Yeah, mine does kind of too. But
so
like
weird.
She didn't, it's like literally every single new thing was like, you know what I'm saying? Like especially when I feel like when you open the storefront is when it really like took off. And it was like every day was a new challenge for something that like, because it was literally like Savanna owned the business, obviously. And then it was me and my friend. And we were all literally like, you were how old? 23, 24?
No, I wasn't 24. I was 22.
22. I was like 19 or 20. So was it? No, 20, 21. 20, 21.
You weren't 21 yet.
Yeah, no. And so like literally 3 children.
Literally 3 early 20-year-olds trying to run
like this building
business.
that's started out. Savannah's goal, is this okay to talk about for revenue? Your goal, I think, was like $12,000 per month or like 10 or something like
10,000
that.
a month.
Yeah, 10,000 a month. And like by the second month, we were at like $40,000 or $50,000 a month or more maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And that just goes to show like 10,000 was her goal to up from being in the salon suite or maintain maybe like at least be somewhere in the same vicinity and like just how fast it grew. And I didn't even know until recently one of your friends, our friends, started her own business that there are like these whole professionals who are consultants for starting these businesses and like literally get all your ducks in a row, file all your paperwork for you, show you every single thing to do.
Yeah, we literally had so many things. Like, remember when we had the fire department come and they were like,
didn't have a fire extinguisher.
We didn't have a fire extinguisher. That was also not my fault.
Yeah.
Because the stupid place that we rent from, they like are sketchy and shady and they thought I was
allegedly
that I wouldn't notice, which I didn't. And he was like, are you sure you didn't remove it because it was pink? And then the fire lady was like on our side. She's like, oh, I know allegedly who this man is, allegedly. And he does this to a lot of like townhome people and stuff too, where he'll just like have one fire extinguisher and like bring it in for inspection. And then allegedly when they pass, he like will allegedly take it out.
Yep.
And then go put it to the next place so that no one really actually has allegedly a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So like, it's just crazy how.
And then when we got that $500 fine for not registering our ADT alarm system with
the city. Yeah. No one, even ADT didn't tell us we had to do that.
No one told us.
Yeah, exactly. So my whole point is that regardless of how little Savanna or any of us knew how to run a business, it was always ran ethically.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, that was always like, what did.
Remember when I didn't charge sales tax for the first year?
That was
because I had no idea because I thought that.
And that was back when your dad was still doing like your taxes.
Well, he wasn't. Remember? Because that's why it happened. Because then finally, when I hit my first 6 figures in my salon suite, that was the issue. That was what happened. Is he was like, "Oh my God, like you're actually making a lot of money."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, fucker, I am making a lot of money." And he was like, "Well, let me look at your books." And I was like,
What are books?
I'm like my aesthetic books. Like, do you want to read the one about chemical peels? He's like, "No, your books." And I was like, "No, me no comprende." Like, I don't know, Dad. Like, I don't understand what you're asking. And he was like, "Your books." He's like, "Let me see your Square," which is what I was using. And
were you using Square at the time?
No, it was Vagaro.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
using
say.
Vagaro.
Like, what does Vagaro's books even look like? I don't even know.
I don't know. My dad looked at it. He's like, "So basically, you owe a fuck ton of money to the state. I hope you saved." And I was like, I actually did, because at that point, I wasn't buying anything for myself, like at all. Like, I literally was like scrounging. I didn't even like get my nails done. I got my hair done for free because I did a trade with one of the girls at the salon suite. Like,
and she burned your hair off?
Yeah,
or is that
she
a
did.
different one?
No, it was her. I mean, like, literally, no. If I ate, clients brought me food. Like, everything I made went straight back into the business.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my dad was like, "You got it." That's when he was like, "Okay, this is not like a little girl playing spall anymore. Like, I realize I'm proud of you." Like, that was like such a big moment for me when my dad like realized like, holy shit, you're making more money than you would have been making as a nurse.
Yeah, for sure.
In your little salon suite. But please charge sales tax.
Yeah, because that was a crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
That's one thing that tax is not supposed to be a burden.
And then so many other things. Like, I was like not filing my I didn't know about tax ID or anything like with the company, so I was getting charged sales tax from the companies.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just so many business. It was, you guys have no idea how much I had to learn.
So if you guys have some money and you're about to start a business, probably get a consultant.
Yeah.
That's what.
But I was stubborn. Well, I think my big thing I was hell bent on, which was immaturity, honestly, was I'm going to do this all myself. Like, I want to be self-made. I don't want any money from anybody. I don't want any loans. I don't want any help. Like, I don't want anyone to ever fucking say, like, I made Savanna Boda who she is. Like, oh, Savannah's where she is today because she had this mentor or because her parents gave her this money. Yeah. And even if I wanted money from my parents, trust me, I asked. They said no. And this was like, I think right after that was when I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do this all my own. Like, I'm going to just be, walk in the fire and see what happens. I have nothing to lose. I live at home. Like, at the end of the day, like, if everything blew up in my face, like, my parents obviously would let me stay at their house. Like, they're not going to fucking kick me out. Like, they love me. They just don't support what I'm doing at all, but they do love me. Yeah. And, now they're so proud of me. They're so supportive, but I get it. Like, I probably would not have been like that or be like that with Cyrus, but also too, like, my trajectory of my life, I was kind of like, I went through a lot of depression and this and that, and like was just kind of like, the black sheep of the family that just like, I was never supposed to be the successful one. Like, it was always supposed to be my brother. Like, even from an early age, like, he was the kid that like literally could pick up any sport in a day and like was just so like, those people that are just good at everything. Like, that's my brother. Like, he can wakeboard, he can play soccer, he can do baseball, he can do pickleball, he can do tennis. Like, he's just so good. Like, we'll get a new video game from GameStop and like master it in one day. Like, he was just so good at everything, and everything came really hard for me. Like, I'm smart, but I have to really focus and apply myself, and like I have to put a lot of time towards it. Like, I'm not just one of those people that can easily do something. And so I think, obviously, like, they're like, we're not going to invest in something that's going to be a flash in a pan for you. Like, they were like, my biggest thing with my dad, once he finally stomached that I was going to be an esthetician, was, okay, if you're going to be an esthetician, you have to work at a doctor's office. Like, you're not allowed to go, like, if you're going to live at our house, like, you're not allowed to go work at like a day spa or like go wax, brows. Like, you have to have something that we can like tell our friends and family and not like cringe when we say it, which is sad because there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with it. But my parents were very hoity-toity. Like, you go to college, like, this is what it is.
Like, it's only legitimate if you work with a
like
doctor.
Going for like my dad being upset I was going to be a nurse because he wanted me to be a doctor, to being an esthetician that worked at a doctor's office. If I was an esthetician that didn't work at a doctor's office, I was like scum of the fucking earth in my parents' eyes. And just because they believe that, I don't want anyone to take that wrong and think that I think that, because I don't. There's so many people that do waxing that make more than people that are fucking nurses.
Working for doctors.
Or working for doctors or nurses or doing lash extensions. I mean, people poo-poo this industry, but I think they're now starting to see the money that can be made if you do things right.
No, yeah. I mean, some lash techs make,
Like 6 figures or more.
or brow artists.
6 figures or more.
Yeah.
PMU artist,
Yeah.
so much money is to be made. Yeah, it's actually crazy. I mean, even hairdressers too. Like everybody can make. My hairdresser makes so much fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But yeah, I think that was just, old school thinking and boomers, that were like, that's not a career. This is like, some people see our career that way. They're like, oh, like that's cute. What's your real job? And like, this is my real job and I actually make more than you, Nancy. And you work at a tax collector's office. Like, have fun with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How's busy season going?
How's busy season going? Like,
even though busy season is.
How's that salary
all
when you
year
get
for
no
you.
overtime? How's it going?
That's crazy.
But the whole point of this is that, yeah, my dad really started to see the value. And now, I mean, he's so proud of me. And my mom's so proud of me, both of them. Like, it's just honestly crazy. Like, I feel like everything happened so fast in my career that I didn't have time to think about my success and, like, realize what I had built because I was so busy building it. And still to this day, like, it's just weird to think about. Like, I don't know. It just feels like I don't know.
It's almost like it's happened so fast.
I tied my shoes so tight, my foot's like purple.
She was complaining about it being loose, so
Like,
I'm an all or nothing type of boy. No, yeah, honestly, it's crazy. It's also like it happened all so fast, but like for some reason in my brain, it's like it's always been like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's hard to remember
The OG days.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy.
Like I don't know.
But I will say I didn't cut corners. I didn't do anything
No,
sketchy and
she
weird.
didn't.
I mean, I did everything by the book. That's how we're here today.
And I think that's what makes you successful. And it's also like ethics at this point is a bare minimum because you go above and beyond for your clients.
Yeah.
It's not you're just treating them how you should be. Like, again, bare minimum, bottom of the barrel. Like, I hope you're using real hydrofacial fluid on them or whatever, serum or what on them. Or I hope you're changing your microneedling every time. But like, I mean, you have tailored their experience so much to where it's elevated from any other place that they'll go.
Thank you.
I mean, your bags, you go to any other place. I guarantee maybe there are some, I'm sure, but like.
They do.
Well, now they do. But make your boxes smell good when you get a shipment or,
Don't share all my secrets. I'm just kidding.
Okay, fair enough. There are a lot of perks that you really tailor their experience to where it's not just, especially I feel like also when you're in a med spa, you can get away with not being so foo-foo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because you're a med spa, you can get away with being more like a doctor's office, quote unquote. And like, you don't need to do all these extras. Like, they're coming in for a medical procedure.
Oh, yeah. Or like buying expensive like all the shit that we do.
So like, I just feel like, I mean, you need to be passionate about it at the end of the day to be successful. I don't think
you have to care.
A lot of people, I think, come in and think that this is, easy money because, I mean, a lot of people do make great money now, but I think that the ones
has to come from a place of genuinely in the industry because you love it so much.
And you care about
patients.
Yeah, what you're doing with them.
Yeah.
What else do you have?
I'm tired, guys. I'm going to be honest.
Wait, this was a lot. We just talked about ethics for like 2 hours straight. So
yeah,
I think it's fair to be a little tired.
I want to go watch Stick It.
Stick It.
Because I also have, this is my issue, is like every time we record the podcast, because we record like 4 in a day usually, but I don't come once a week. It's far from my house, and I'm a busy woman, and I have a family, and
does not have time to come.
Can't do that because then I would never have a day off to be with my son and my family.
She would never have a day off, and we would miss podcast episodes all the time because she travels.
But I think we pretty much covered it. There's like some other little things, that we can go into at a later date. But I think we got it. I think we did it. Slay. But
hopefully you guys took some notes on this, and I mean, I think you gave some good tips.
Mm-hmm.
I think especially about consulting. I almost just caught your bug. Remember when you used to, or do you still do it?
Consulting?
Yeah,
I
consulting.
always do that.
Um, Consulting before you treat people and making sure they're on good skincare before you treat them is a huge one, especially if you want to get good results. Because I've even seen a lot of spas that require like consultation and treatment
Yeah.
on
No
the
one did
first
that.
visit. What?
No one used to do that.
Yeah, now they like require it, and no, but they require you to get both, like a consultation and a treatment on the thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that seems like you're doing it for money purposes, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know, but we love you guys.
I love you guys.
Hope you. I don't know if you're listening to us driving on the way to work or what. Hopefully, we made your drive okay, and you guys have a wonderful week. And
It has
yeah,
so many split ends. I need to get my hair cut.
girl, we were just there.
Okay, well, she didn't cut enough. Just to cut it up. Me, I'm like, I need to get my hair cut. And then my hairdresser's like, okay. And I'm like, don't cut it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we love you so much. Happy Monday. Stay ethical.